Have you ever wondered why I chose warriors for PvP? Well, people say that warriors are overpowered and the best PvP class, and I admit, they're pretty good, but they're not the best. No, of all things, druids are the best. And I mean, looking at them, do they really look that impressive? I mean, they have terrible armor, the same as mages, which is the worst, and they don't really have much going for them. I mean, their lightning strike instant damage skill is just a weaker version of a firebolt. No attune, no lore. I mean, they got decent damage over time skills, but that's about it. All the other stuff's kinda geared for support. But let's take a step back and think about it real quick. Druids may have the worst armor, but since they have so many buffs, they could do a ton with them. Now, Shield of Bark is actually a better version. No. But Shield of Bark is even more effective than Protective Stance. So it kind of evens out the levels there. And even more so because druids have wards. I mean, I don't have any wards on me, but it's like a reverse lore. Instead of decreasing enemy resistance, it increases you or a friend's resistance. And since we know that Shield of Bark increases armor, and armor increases all three physical resistances, if you had all three physical wards, you'd basically have more armor. And since you could use Shield of Bark and the wards, you can have an insane amount of armor, because not only is Shield of Bark stronger than Stance, but wards are stronger than Shield of Bark. So you could easily have thousands of armor in theory, at endgame at least. And Grasping Roots, it's actually pretty effective. It'll root people in place so they can't run at you. It basically makes melees useless, except rogues. Rogues can shadow strike you, but that's about it. Rangers can shoot you, not really much you can do there, but rangers are kind of weak and you can take advantage of them with bark and wards. With casters, druids, and mages, you could just root them, cast skills, and walk away. Because that's the one great thing about druids. Damage over time skills. They're very strong, comparatively with the lightning strike and storm touch. Because they do a ton of damage in their 30 seconds, or 20 seconds for swarm. And you don't even need to be standing in a line of fire for it to do its damage. You can just cast it and run for the whole 30 seconds. You don't even need to stop to cast more spells like mages do with Firebolt. But you thought that was OP? No, Let's take a look at Swarm. Now Swarm does less damage than Vines, but it deals poison damage. Except, it's not actually poison damage. Would you believe me if I said that it does full damage no matter what? And I mean it. It's a special type of damage that we call unresistible damage, and I've talked about it a long time ago, but most people probably don't remember. Swarm, Rupture's damage over time part, Ruby Skull, Cloak Pendants, maybe Reaver Shields, I'm not sure, have a special type of damage that just is effective on everything. And if you don't believe me, I'll show you something really funny you can do with it. You just go upstairs, and over here we have this dusty bookcase. And you can attack it because there's some kind of questing where you need to cast a certain skill on it, I guess. But you can't do any damage to it, because it's just how it works. I mean, it casts vines, lightning, nothing does anything. And you can tell that a tick of DOT passed because it went past 5 seconds. But watch what happens when you cast Swarm on it. Wait for it. See, it took damage. No, you can cast Swarm on literally anything and it'll do damage. Chaos Wraiths, which only take divine damage. Necroads. Poison Extals. That's kind of like a thing that people wouldn't notice, but yeah. Just anything, and I'll even prove it. Look at Lava Lord here, right? I'm wearing 2 resist poisons of 30 each, and the Phoenix, which has 50. So we just send him a duel. So we see that our swarm does up to 76 damage, and damage flux is 60 to 100%, so we should hit around that. So even with our poison resist on, which add up to 110, see 66, 52, just to cast it again to keep it on, 53, 55, 50. Oh, come on. My evasions are too good. I'm evading myself. But you get the point here. I'm hitting full damage. Oh, come on. I'm too OP for me. Just punch him. Alright, there we go. Probably gonna run out of energy soon. But yeah, full line of damage. Nothing can resist it. So look, 73 right there. Proof of it. But let's go over what we talked about so far. Druids can out-tank warriors with their skills, right? And since they could just put points in Vit just like warriors can, they can have as much health too. So no one can do enough DPS to stop a druid. On top of that, you don't even need wards for mages when you're at 200 plus, because you could just use Reaver Rings and they'll be useless anyway. By the way, they're just too OP. And endgame, you could slot a lot of stuff because of that. Using Bark and all the wards is only maxing 4 skills, and maxing Vines and Swarm is 6. So you can definitely fit that by endgame. The idea is you use all your wards, your Bark, you cast Vines and Swarm, and you can just run around tables. They'll try and catch up to you, whatever. They won't catch you because you'll be constantly moving and not attacking. And even if they do catch up to you, they'll only use like 1 or 2 skills and have to run after you again. Meanwhile, you're doing almost your entire DPS on them. There's almost like nothing they can do. Rogues can use Play Dead, and if you put Swarm on them, they'll just be laying down on the ground suffering because of that unresistible damage, and it's just a net loss for them. The only thing that can rival a druid is a warrior, but since warriors need to be up close and personal, they're kinda screwed. And let's say a druid did stand the whole fight and fought a warrior toe to toe. The druid would out-tank the warrior, and even though the warrior's putting out a lot of DPS with the melee skills and whatnot, and even though Rupture's DOT is unresistible, Swarm's just gonna eat right through them. So really, druids are overpowered. And granted someone plays one right, they'll kill anybody. I just want to share that knowledge with you, and druids are really overlooked. They're really good, really overpowered, but only if you know how to use it. And I really don't want to make a druid ever. It's just, I like playing warriors, and that's just what I do. But that's definitely the way to kill Lava or Stone Lord. One good druid and there's just nothing I can do about it.